And that is a snapshot as the bells of the town go off of one of my favorite places on earth, the Taverna Itomi in the heart of the old Greek village of Ancient Messene, also known as Mavromati, which is the latest stop and by some distance the one that means the most to me on my adventures in Greece over 4 weeks, exploring Greek wine, indulging in Greek hospitality, and learning a bit more, not just about the grapes of Greece, but how they might fit in to the South African wine story going forward as climate change prompts our winemakers to look at grapes that are a little more drought resistant, a little hardier wines that might, in the next 10, 20 years' time, emerge on the horizon of the South African wine scene. You can hear an alarm in the background. That probably means there's a South African in the village. In fact, there are a couple because my family are here with me. But I've also got a great selection of Greek friends, including a gentleman by the name of Nikos. This is his restaurant, and it's one that means a great deal to me and my family. With both of our children, we had them christened in the family church and then had the celebration in this very restaurant. So wonderful memories of the taverna, but also the town itself, where my parents-in-law were born and brought up, and which looks down, as you'll see in a moment, over one of the great archaeological digs of Greece. But as beautiful as the village is, as rich as the history may be, and as striking as the archaeology is, it is wine that headlines the show, unsurprisingly. And there are two very distinct types of wine. We'll be trying wine made by my wife's uncles. They taught themselves to make wine. They make it in plastic barrels in garages from grapes they grow themselves in their back garden. It should be wine that hospitalizes you. It's actually surprisingly good. So we're going to be trying that, but also meeting a winery and a winemaker from the immediate surrounds and getting a real sense of what is making Greek wine quite so successful at the moment. So all that to come over the course of this hour on Dan Really Likes Wine, presented by Pick and Pay. But first of all, here's a little news from the world of wine. Well, let's start off with some good news for Marinda Clear. Marinda, the winemaker at Elgin Vintners, who've been picking up a number of big awards and great accolades over the last little while. In fact, we had Marinda on the show with news of Sauvignon Blanc's success from the Concours Mondial just a couple of months ago. Marinda is saying goodbye, not just to Elgin Vintners, but also to South Africa. She has got a plum job at one of the top wineries in Napa, so she is headed California way. We wish her the best of luck, and we await to see who will be replacing her at the helm of Elgin Vintners. So big news coming out of there. Also in Elgin, this is this Thursday. I will be hosting this from Greece. It is the Pick and Pay Winemakers Table virtual tasting with Paul Kluver, your last chance to get stuck in. Not only will Pick and Pay deliver your wine, they'll also deliver the ingredients to make a couple of small plates. You'll learn 3 great recipes and try some terrific wine from Paul Kluver. Those tickets available at Web Tickets. Last few are available. I look forward to seeing you online for that. That is this Thursday evening, your virtual winemakers tasting with Paul Kluver. And congratulations to Nederberg, receiving a fairly substantial award. This was the Wine Business Review, making this the best South African Cabernet Sauvignon. That is their old Cabernet Sauvignon bin selection. I think this was 95 points out of 100. So very well done to Nederberg, who I think sometimes get a little overlooked for the sheer quality of the top-end wine they produce. Yes, they're a big producer, but that stuff at the top end really is exceptional, and that award is another endorsement therein. And then also just some news coming out about an hour ago. Greg Sherwood, South Africa's top wine man in London, giving a 100-point rating to the 3rd edition of the Malinois Olorese dessert wine. I'm not sure Greg's ever given 100 points before. He basically cannot find fault with a wine I had some aversion to of about a month ago. Gee, I don't know if you're going to get your hands on any of this. It is going to be gold dust, but rightly so. They have something special to the Malinois. Now, also something special are the Greeks with their wine. But before we look at the wine, let's just have a quick look at the ruins that are the other highlight of Ancient Messene or Mavromati. These photos taken yesterday. It is an extraordinary place to come and visit. It's a mecca for people from all over the world who are coming to visit, archaeological students or just tourists with a love of history. You can see there's a theatre, there are ancient baths, there's a full stadium. It's just a really, really impressive place to visit. And in Greek summer, all the more so. Just get a little bit warm down there, and there's the occasional snake you have to look out for. But other than that, it's just a great place to visit. I am not down there at the moment, though. I am overlooking it, and I'm doing so with my friend Nicholas. Nicholas, welcome.
Hello, how are you?
I'm extremely well. It's lovely to be back somewhere that I have such fond memories of with my family, my parents-in-law growing up here, my wife growing up here on holidays. Tell us a little bit about the village of Ancient Messene and why it's so special for you.
It's a village. One village is 1,200 years. The village is here. We are here from restaurant from 1987. It's a family restaurant, and the site is 2,300 years before now. It's very big history. It's very big site. The last 35 years work very, very fast, and we have very new things. The people now coming to start, the tourists coming too much. It's a small village. It's a beautiful village. We have all family. Everybody we're a family. We have the traditional food, the traditional wine, very special oil, many good things. From restaurants to use the culture from Greek culture, only Greek food. We buy everything from here to use it. Olive oil from everything. Olive oil, we use it in the Greece every day.
Do you ever get bored coming to work and looking down at that view?
We have now board everywhere. And everywhere.
It's an amazing place, and it's somewhere that people come to visit principally because of the Achia, because of the ruins. But then this is their next stop, and it's become a really popular place for tourists. Tell me a bit about what for you defines Greek food and Greek wine. Why do people love Greek food and wine so much?
I think the Greek kitchen is the best in the Europe, one of the best, because it's very simple and very difficult. But if you want to take the original Greek tasting, it's you want very love and very special to love this to doing. And of course, the people to come from Ancient Messene, we have many people except from the restaurant to come here, to taste the wine. We have many local wines here, and the Greek grape. He loved the place. It's beautiful in village. It's all packaged. It's very beautiful.
It certainly is, and they don't go separately. Every time I've come here, it's always been food and wine, and they work together. And the wine I've had is often it's just in a jug, in a carafe. It's not in a bottle. It's just local wine, and I think that says a lot about what you guys like to do. It's supporting local.
I think the problem is the Greece. We have many local wines, and we don't use it the bottle. I don't know why. The next, after 10 years to change this, you don't can find the open wine. You find only bottle. I think now the Greek wine to start is very fast. We have very good wine. You see, we need the white. It's very good level. We need some work for the red. We have problem. But Yannis explains after to you, the better for me. But you see, and you tell me the wine.
Well, we're going to meet Yannis and Costa in just a moment. Before we do that, though, for you as somebody who has a restaurant, for whom food and wine is so important, have you seen Greek wine improve a lot over the last 10, 15 years?
Yes, very fast. It changed very fast for the better, very fast. Because we copy for the technology from the France and another country, and we are very, very fast. Change very fast the Greek wine, because 10 years before the Greek wine is near to nothing. Now we have a really very good wines. Well, in the South Africa, of course, we have very good wine.
Well, there has been South African wine drunk here. We've had a lot of anything else here over the years, but lots of South African wine. We're going to try some of that more modern wine, the bottled wine, in a moment. But first, I want to try some wine we've got here. I think we actually got a photo of a gentleman called Yanni, who looks like a well-aged Super Mario brother. There we go. That is Yanni Kouvelakis. He's a young, up-and-coming winemaker in his late 60s. One half of a set of twins who look a bit like Asterix characters. And this is the wine here. You can see it. It's a wonderful old school Greek label. The handwritten terms there. And if you don't speak Greek, it's simply got the family name of Kouvelakis and the Rodithi grape in it. This speaks of the village, doesn't it? This is real homegrown Ancient Messene wine.
Is it? We see the farm from Vrysula is the name of the farm. You know, Yamas.
Yamas, and that's what we say when we drink wine. Yamas.
Yes, of course.
Yamas.
Yamas.
All right. What do you think of this?
The Rovitis is a really Greek grape. I think it's good wine from village wine. You know, knowledge is different.
Yeah.
But we love this wine. We drink many in the Greece. The good wine for the village, if you drink 5 kilos, it's okay, we say. It's not for less more.
So this is made in this very village, made by my wife's uncle Yanni. And to give you a sense of it, there's a slightly herbal palate on it. There's some fresh kind of cinso-like fruit, some strawberry, some light red fruit to it. But there's still a bit of a backbone to it as well. And as I know from many examples, it drinks really nicely with plenty of food. It also, though, sits as one of two wines I'm going to try with you, Nikos, before we let you go. The other one is from another gentleman. Would it be fair to say, and you live in the village, that Yori Kouvelakis is possibly the loudest human being on earth?
Yes, is it? The best.
So let me tell you the story of Theo Yori, my wife's uncle, the oldest of the uncle, my father-in-law's older brother. There he is in his classic milk bottle style bottling. Now, the first time I met him, that was a bottle of wine that he poured for me. And I'd never had this before. And I was a little bit nervous because here's somebody who makes his own wine in a garage in a plastic barrel. This was clearly going to have tasting notes of Jick and Harpic and was going to kill me. But it actually worked out to, again, be surprisingly drinkable. And I don't polished. It's not 5-star French wine, but it's really comfortable wine. It's the wine you pour with your friends and your family and you sip away as the sun sets down over Messene.
Every house you have the wine here, and you think it's the best, you know.
Well, let's try a little taste.
Of course.
Of Theo Yori's wine. Basically, if you can imagine a Greek vuvuzela, that's Yori for you. That's pretty much what he sounds like. Unfortunately, Yori speaks no English, and my Greek is a work in progress. So, second one.
Yorgos.
To Yorgos. So this is a 60% Rodithis. It's got a few other local grapes, and it's almost a field blend in terms of how it's put together. It's a little bit darker. It's got a little bit more kind of grapefruit feel as opposed to a lighter strawberry feel. But again, it's relaxed. It's casual. It's easy to drink.
It's better, I think. It's latter. No, it's very light. This you drink faster. This,
which is not always a good thing. And tell me, Nicholas, before I let you go, because I can see there are about 300 people queuing to get into your restaurant at the moment. If people are arriving from around the world, as they do, to the Taverna Itomi, what's the highlight? What should they be ordering from your menu that's going to blow them away?
The pork in the oven is very traditional plate from here.
I had that today. It was superb.
Of course, everything for Greek traditional, the moussaka is we make it very, very special plate. All Greek, all meat, it's from local. The cheese, the fruits, everything, and the salad. We try to have here anything you taste. I think which one very good plate from the moment from restaurant. And we have any day in different foods. We don't have the same menu. Sometimes we change. If you have a good this memory, good tomatoes, we have tomatoes. If you have good aubergine, we make moussaka. Anytime we have the place to change the menu, how we have very fresh in this moment.
What basically Nicholas is saying is you're going to have to come here for a week and just work your way through the entire menu because it is extensive and there is some great wine. Nicholas, thank you, not just for being on the
Thank you.
show, but thank you for the friendship over the years, for many
Okay.
great meals, for 2 great christenings,
Okay.
and many more glasses of wine together to come.
We have.
We do indeed.
Thank you.
So there we go. Yamas.
Yamas.
I'm going to let you have a look at the view while we change guests. So let's jump over to our other camera. There we go. That is a view as we speak, looking down over the valley. And you can just in the background see Ancient Messene, the town itself, the old ruins. And we are sitting at the moment in the restaurant and surveying that scene from above. It really is exceptional, and it makes for a pretty special place to call home for this afternoon. All right, well, let's jump back into the restaurant Itomi, and I had one good-looking and athletic young Greek. Now I've got 2 of them with me. Well, welcome to Yanis and to Kostik. Guys, thank you very much for joining me. A Greek winemaker. I'm honoured. Tell me a little bit about Psaroulis and about your wine brand.
Psaroulis wines in Messenian local wine, Greek and international wine, Chardonnay, Cabernet, Clary, Syrah, Merlot, and Assyrtiko.
So some names there that especially our South Africans will recognize. We make lots of Chardonnay in South Africa. We make lots of Merlot, but then also grapes that we know just to be Greek, something like Assyrtiko. So you've got a blend of the distinctly Greek, but also the more international grapes.
Assyrtiko and Assyrtiko Malagoria.
Perfect. So it's a great combination, and we're going to be trying a whole lot of them. Tell me about your wine story, Costa. How did you get into wine?
Family wine in the boutique winery. It's a history 15 years old in Messenia. The bigger vinegar in Messenia and grape Assyrtiko. And very good wine and special wine in the world international champion.
And we've got a couple of those champion wines that you can't see yet. They're sitting just in front of me in a moment. We're going to try them, but before we try them, I want to find out, Yanis, what on earth is a Greek doing in Germany selling wine?
First of all, Dan, thank you for having us. What the hell? Yeah, good question. Now, the last maybe 10 years, 7 or 10 years, Greek wine is on the rise. Somehow it's a trend, let's say, among educated wine lovers. And in more developed markets, like, for example, England, London, France, USA, Australia even, Greek wine doing perfect. The sales rise, the gain more and more popularity. So, in my experience, I visited Germany a couple of times before I moved, and I saw that also in other big wine consumer countries, Greek wine now it's you can find a lot, and the people appreciate it. In German, things wasn't until now in these states. So for me, it's an opportunity to try to add something in this in German market. So yeah,
So
I want to make Greek wine great in the German market actually.
And I've always got the sense that Greek wine has been a bit of a quirk. People buy it because it's something different, but now I get the sense people are actually really buying it because it is very good. Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, I think it's fair assessment, and yeah, definitely the last 10 years, the quality of Greek wine has jumped over that.
Yeah.
Yeah, only on rice, and of course new winemakers like Charoulis or a lot of other Greek winemakers that put a lot big effort to promote Greek varieties because, as you said before, yeah, many people know about Chardonnay, about Merlot, Cabernet Sauvignon, etc. But who knows about Sittico or Malvasia or Fileri or Agricultico? There's a lot, a wealth of indigenous Greek varieties that even us, Greek producers, Greek winemakers, and Greek sommeliers, we don't know exactly what is the potential. So even for us, it's now uh, experiment, how you say, an adventure.
Yeah.
We still discover.
Well, let's do some discovering. Costa, there's this array of wine in front of me, which I cannot wait to try. What's first up? What should we be opening up with?
First, wine in Fileri.
Excellent. Okay.
Fileri.
Uh-huh. So tell me a bit about Fileri as a grape.
Greek local wine.
Uh-huh.
It's very good wine in the basic aromatic and special.
Here it's a family of wines, mostly white. Maybe sometimes it could be reddish a little bit. And
There's an immediate sort of sweetness and also a little bit of acid to the nose straight away, which I suspect is going to be a little bit of a sleight of hand, because I've had a couple of Greek wines. I think of Moscofilero, for instance,
Yeah.
where on the nose I thought, oh, this is going to be quite sweet.
Yeah.
And then I tasted it and it actually turns out to be quite dry. That kind of Muscat d'Alexandre, where they show you one thing but give you another.
yeah, exactly. This variety because it's shares some similarities with Muscat family grapes, let's say.
Mm. So we've got a number of people watching. Angelique Kouvelakis, who's watching back in South Africa, says this is the best place. And Greg Sherwood, the master of wine in London, we mentioned a little earlier. Big future for Greek varieties in South Africa, but the Greeks better watch out, else the South African young guns will outdo them with their indigenous varieties. Red and white, exciting times indeed. If you've got someone like Greg Sherwood in London looking excited with Greek wine, and things are clearly doing well. In terms of this, tell me about the making of it. Is it sits in steel? Any in barrel? How do you make this wine?
Only still.
Uh-huh.
Only still. This year, and with Greek flavors, honey, and only banana aromatic. It's very good wine for food.
How does this figure as a grape that's going beyond Greek borders? People in Germany seeing a bit of Fileri?
Fileri is not so famous abroad, not even in Greece actually. The reason is that it's a variety that we used to drink it like a daily wine.
Okay.
Now we don't have some great examples for this variety, but nevertheless it's always a value for money wine that you don't have to spend a fortune to have a decent wine on your table. And as you see, it fits well with Greek cuisine, especially now in the summer with all these vegetables. So yeah.
Yeah, that little lick of sweetness that's going to play off so many of the savoury dishes, which my mother-in-law insists on feeding me so much of. Is it just my mother-in-law or all Greek mothers' intent on feeding everybody everything they can?
Yeah.
It's all of them.
All.
All right. Well, Eleni, if you're watching, I love your food. Just don't give me so much, please. Okay, Filero. I think this is actually the first time I've had Fileri, and I can see how it fits into the kind of the village drinking space. So one down, and very happily so. What's next on our list, Costa?
Next wine is Syrah Rosé.
Uh-huh.
Syrah type Provence.
Now this has got, you can probably see from the image there, you'll see it on my glass as well. This has got an electric pink color to it. This is real Barbie doll pink, kind of fluorescent neon-colored rosé that we don't see so much of in South Africa. But again, I suspect the color might belie the nature of the grape, particularly because it is a Syrah. There are a lot of different grapes you could have made a rosé from. Why choose Syrah, Costa?
Syrah in the world famous grapes, and my winery product and fresh rosé, fresh rosé type Provence colors, very aromatic, and
It's a wine, and I think I can see where Costa's in there. It's a wine known around the world for the south of France, and it's known for the south of France because it's at seaside, summer. It's the perfect drink for that. Greece is just the next level of that, so rosé becomes a natural grape.
Yeah, generally Syrah in Greece it's quite popular and famous. And, we produce good Syrah, I think, because it's a variety that, as you said before, in the south of France, we share some similarities in terms of weather and terroir. Not all, but some. But if we have to pick up a grape that is fit well in Greek terroir, Syrah is one of them. And yeah, apart from the red raisins, of course, some producers try to make it rosé. And also here in the area, mostly Messene. In the past, some local wine growers for like Kovalakis cultivate grapes from his home. Import Syrah, Cabernet Sauvignon, etc. So this variety, although it's international, it's here for more than half a century.
The wine that we drank at the start, Costa, was rosé from the village, made by my two uncles. Very much homemade wine, but perfectly pleasant. So there's clearly a culture of rosé. For you as a winemaker, is this something that there is a big market for? Are more and more people in Greece looking to drink rosé?
Greek rosé and market and restaurant only Greek this product.
Okay, so that is our second one. I see Angela Lloyd is watching at the moment. Tasted the Molyneux Assyrtiko yesterday. Very true to this great variety. Look forward to trying it alongside Vasaltis. Lucky to get a couple of bottles from Ian Nadir. Well, Angela, I can tell you that I'll have Ian Nadir on the show in Athens in a couple of weeks, along with Yanis from Vasaltis. And on Thursday, I'll be drinking with Peter Lemmer in Sifnos and trying some South African wine there as well. So bringing Greece and South Africa together. Right, we move on to the Assyrtiko.
Yes.
All right, good timing indeed. So there we go. There's a look at the Assyrtiko. While you pour that, Costa, this has been the real success story, Yanis, of South African wine. I think Santorini in particular, but a broader understanding of Assyrtiko, whether it's mainland here, whether it's one of the other islands like Paros. Something has just gone really right. And yes, it's exceptional wine that's being made really, really well. But was there a trigger for you? Was there something that just made the world sit up and take notice of Assyrtiko?
Yeah, Assyrtiko, it's a success story for Greece, definitely. And I think the next year, probably it will be the first Greek variety that considered to become international. I wish. And I hope, of course, And Assyrtiko, of course, Assyrtiko from Santorini, it's something special, it's particular, it's unique. Santorini in general, it's one from for me, in my opinion, it's one from the 5 best terroir worldwide. And apart from that, Assyrtiko in mainland, it's, let's say, not so high in acidity, but also a little bit more fruity.
Yeah, I
not
get
so
the,
stilly.
I get the sense that
Yeah.
that this is more fruit driven,
Yeah.
whereas there's a bit more salinity,
Yeah.
a bit more minerality
Yeah.
to that island. And I guess you're surrounded by water, you're surrounded by the ocean.
Yeah.
It makes perfect sense. Tell me about Assyrtiko as a grape to make it, Costa, because we're seeing Assyrtiko now in South Africa. It's really exciting for us. As you say, you make more Assyrtiko than anybody else in Messene, so you're basically the king of Assyrtiko for Messene. What's it like making this? What are the challenges? What are the rewards of making Assyrtiko?
My family is bigger vinegar Assyrtiko in Messene. Very good terroir, and this product very different aroma, banana, lime, different for Santorini. Best wine, it's very metal in world champion wine world. Very special wine.
How difficult is it to make? Because there are South Africans who'll be watching this now. They're starting to make it on their wine farms and their vineyards in South Africa. Is it an easy grape to make, or is it quite hard work?
Easy grape, a crystal clear wine. It's, very different aroma of citrus and lime. And this year, special best wine in winery.
If we take in, for example, about Santorini, that the climate, the condition there is a little bit hard, let's say. Yeah, it could be, it can be an adaptable variety. That it has a lot of strength, and yeah, if you keep the yields low and take care, pick up a good fruit, good quality fruit, then you only have to take care about the oxidation because it's very sensitive. When you press the grapes and the juice, it's very sensitive to oxidation, so you have to avoid the quick oxidation before fermentation. I think this is the biggest challenge about making good Assyrtiko.
So that's your key to getting it just
Yeah,
right.
I think this is quite important.
Evan Sadi, Gary Jordan, listen carefully. I know you guys are making some Assyrtiko. It's great that there are different interpretations and different styles. So you've got an Assyrtiko from the islands versus one from the mainland, and they're very different wines. And I think it's exciting for winemakers to be able to take the same grape, but because of where it is, be able to tell a different story.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's a variety that reflects the terroir, no matter where. So Santorini, Messene, South Africa, with each way reflect terroir and the producer's mentality. And I think people love Assyrtiko because it's not common for a variety to combine this high sugar level, high concentration, but also too high acidity. This combination of freshness, bold, I think, yeah, this is the reason why it's so beloved everywhere.
I think it's also the reason why it is such an exciting part of a very dynamic South African wine scene. If you've tried, as Angela has, the Vasaltis, then try and get your hands on some from mainland, especially from Costa, and you'll find two lovely wines with very distinct styles. All right, so there is our Assyrtiko. Gee, we've got a lot of wine to taste here. It's going to be a long afternoon. What's next on our list here, Costa?
Next wine is Assyrtiko Malagousia.
Blended
Wine.
So Assyrtiko, we obviously now know well. You can see there. Really like the labels. There's a wonderfully authentic Greek village feel to them. Malagousia, what's that? Tell me about that as a grape.
Malagousia, it's a Greek wine. The very special aromatic grapes and and wine. This produced in blend and two famous Greek local wine. The special wine is bestseller in winery.
Malagousia, it's the ultimate success of the last 10 years for Greek indigenous varieties. It was in the edge of extinction 15 years ago, more or less, until one great producer, Vasiliou, it's quite famous, discovered the variety and tried to explore the potential. And this combination, this profound aromatic profile with the soft palate, but nevertheless refreshing acidity. I think it's a combination it's not easy to find in many wine varieties worldwide.
We talk a lot in South Africa about we've got a Cape blend, which is a wine that has got Chenin Blanc as the lead wine. And we also have quite a lot of a Bordeaux white style, a Semillon Sauvignon Blanc. Is there a distinctive Greek white blend? And if so, would this be it?
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Okay.
Because somehow Assyrtiko gives the body and the structure, and the Malagousia adds aromatic complexity and intensity.
And a lovely finish as
Yeah,
well.
exactly.
Almost lanolin
Yeah.
that just coats the palate.
Yeah.
Oh.
Fruity, a complex finish, and pretty long.
I can just close my eyes and I'm sitting on a beach and there's seafood in front of me and the waves are crashing into the sand and I've got a glass of this and it's just perfect.
Yeah, definitely. It's just perfect, as you say.
Is it? Because we joke about mother-in-laws and feeding, but food is such a part of Greece. As a winemaker, are you thinking when you're making wine, this is going to go with this and this is going to go with that and this is wine that's made for particular food? Does that enter your thoughts as you're making wine?
Yes, speaking of fruit, this product special aromatic passion fruit, and tropical lychee and lime. Very good wine, special wine for food, for bar. Bestseller wine. This.
Tell me a little bit about the aging, because last night at dinner you very kindly brought me a glass of, I said it was only 4 years old, but already the characteristics had changed. It had taken, I would have been a blind tasting, but it was probably a Riesling based on that petrol on the nose and what I was getting in the mouthfeel. In terms of keeping wine, because so much of it is fresh and alive and you think, oh, we're going to drink it straight away. Is this wine that can age? And is there a Greek culture of drinking older white wine?
No, Greek culture until now it's to drink white wine fresh. But they somehow slowly start to change. Of course, Assyrtiko, I think it's same to open the bottle before 2 years. You need 2 years after harvest to open the bottle. Otherwise, I think just get a slight of the potential. For the other varieties, maybe Malagousia, we used to drink it fresh. Moscow Filler, for example, as well. Although Moscow Filler and Malagousia can age a few years, but nevertheless, after the 2-3 years, it's not oxidized, but changed rapidly with the profile. So it's more honey, more sweet flavors that many people doesn't like. Many consumers, it's not familiar.
Sure.
So it's not easy to keep the bottles. But for Assyrtiko, definitely for me, open Assyrtiko at least 2 years after harvest. And if it's a good one, for example, like a single vinegar, like a special vinification, etc., at least 5-6 years from the harvest. And then you have a good catch. You're on the spot. Apart from that, some really special vinification from top producer can age for sure more than a decade. I had an experience about Caballeros, for example, it's pretty famous. 2009, and it was really like 3 years old. But still, because even for Samorini, nevertheless, effort the last year. So even for them, we we have not discovered the full potential.
Yeah.
And I think the best are coming.
I also get the sense that with this wine in particular, it's the kind of wine that over the course of 2 or 3 hours is going to open up a lot more. We've got both Angela Lloyd and Greg Sherwood, two of South Africa's top wine minds, are watching at the moment. And I know they often open up a bottle if they're judging it and leave it over 2, 3, 4 days and see how that wine develops.
Yeah.
And I get the sense we'll probably get something similar out of this.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, another lovely wine. I'm going to add it to my list of wines to drink more of. Okay, we've then got, do I see some Chardonnay there? Chardonnay is a wine that maybe people weren't expecting to see because we want all these exotic Greek grapes. We want the Assyrtiko and the others that we've had so far this evening. And yet here we get something that is very much a world wine. It's started in France. It's made in vast amounts in Australia, in California, certainly in South Africa. Tell me a bit about Chardonnay in Greece.
This Chardonnay is the best wine product in the world. Famous wine Chardonnay. This product different Chardonnay. Very good aroma, banana, honey, gold and yellow colors, and aroma citrus. Crystal wine for food, for drink, for all.
It's not a wine I'm getting a vast amount of wood on, and am I guessing it's maybe some older barrels and you've just used a little bit?
No barrel, it's only still.
Just stills and nothing at all. Would that be usual for Greek Chardonnays? I know if we look at the South African story, for a long time we made our Chardonnay with far too much wood, and you chew through the wine. It was often quite awful. And now it's very much a case of if we do use wood, it's to frame the wine to really tell a story, as this wine is doing. Is it a pretty much no wood at all on Chardonnay, or will you get some examples of a lightly wooded Chardonnay?
The truth is that a few years ago it was very popular to drink Chardonnay heavy on. Actually, the last year, of course, the trends have changed. Also, how the consumers appreciate the wine. Most of the wine consumers now focus on fruit. So yeah, now we have some good examples with good examples of with oak, Bordeaux style mainly, but it's not heavy oak. And it's made for aging. But most of Greek Chardonnay, it's made in stainless this time, and drink fast, immediately.
Right. Not to age. And this is, you say, you don't see it on this bottle. This is a naked bottle, so to speak. But normally, basically, all of there would be stickers from around the world, because Costa's done rather well with this wine. And then I think it's in this kind of climate and environment, especially in summer, you don't really want a big heavy white wine, do you? You want something that speaks to summer days and warm weather.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Okay, so this now leads me to what I'm probably most interested in this conversation, because the improvements in white wine has been fairly dramatic. I don't think white wine in Greece was bad across the board when I first started drinking it, but there weren't too many examples that blew me away. Now, and we've had some examples today, the wine that I'm tasting is a really, really good white wine. What about the red wine story, Costa? Where is red wine in Greece? Has it improved as much? Is there still work to be done for red wine in Greece?
Red wine in Greece is very special, different wine. Very much aromatic and very body. This Greek terroir and different special in world. Very good job all winery and special red wine, Agrico, Cabernet, Xenomagro, Magrotradano, and Messenia local wine, Magru. It's my winery. I have Merlot and Cabernet Sauvignon and Agrico. This blend wine.
And a blend which we're going to try in a moment, because I know that that's a bit of a rock star wine. An extension of that conversation about red wine. From a South African perspective, we really know Skeptico, the others we're coming to terms with. But the broad understanding is it's Greek white wine that we're looking for. Greek red wine doesn't really enter the equation for a lot of people who are looking at it from where I am. For what you're seeing in the rest of Europe is red wine starting to appear on the horizon, and does it deserve to be? Has the quality begun to match that of the white?
Okay. In the past, we were trying to find our place in the market through international varieties like Cabernet Sauvignon, Merlot, etc. But now, the last year, all of us, I mean, producers, professionals, the consumers here in Greece, we appreciate more and more the red grapes, red good grapes. Agrico and Xenoma, of course, is the leader in Greece, also in the world. And yes, whoever tries first time, for example, Xenoma, the first is wow. It's very distinct, it's very particular, very Mediterranean, all the aromatic profile, very structured, very savory, and of course, with a huge aging potential, even 30 years in the cellar, only benefit this kind of wine. On the other hand, but Xenoma maybe sometimes for new consumers, new wine consumers, maybe it's a little bit difficult because the tannins, it's not easy to count for a winemaker. All the time for Xenoma is a bit more aggressive, let's say. On the other hand, we have Ayurvedico, that let's say somehow it's the opposite, if I can use this word actually, because it's more smooth, more aromatic, and everybody loves Ayurvedic actually. And also we have Ayurvedico's variety with how do I say? Well, with we use Ayurvedico to make even pink, rosé wines, or fresh red wine, drinking immediately, but also for bold red wines, hoped to open the bottle at 10 years more after the vintage. It's a versatile variety, actually.
And it's one that fits into a blend. Before we try that blend, though, the other red that you've produced is a Merlot. Most, you might not know this, most planted red grape, or most sold red grape in South Africa. So it's a very popular one, but it's also often seen a lot in blends as opposed to on its own. I think there was a movie called Sideways that didn't do Merlot any favors years ago. Tell me a little bit about your Merlot as we tasted, Costa.
This Merlot in blended barrel and still. Very special red wine, very good aroma, and caramella, vanilla, very body Merlot.
Let's try some as we do that. Yes, somebody is trying to flog Greek wine across Germany. Is Merlot something that gets people excited from Greece?
Yes, it is, because it's the first impression. If someone doesn't know about Autentico or Cinnamogro and don't trust you, the first thing we will try is something that already knows how it tastes. So a good Merlot from Greece or a good international variety from Greece, it's like the first step to introduce someone in the Greek wine world. And yes, for Merlot, let's say it's like Chardonnay for wines. I think for most of the consumers, it's something, let's say, easygoing. Most of the times, soft wine. So yeah, Merlot is a very important wine in our portfolio.
All right, that is the introductory one. Are these specific wines, given that you're from the area, ones that you do sell in Germany?
Now, no. Not on this, no.
But maybe on the horizon.
Yeah.
All
Always searching for up-and-coming producer, of course. And Costas is one of them.
Indeed, he is. Look, we are flying through the show. In fact, we're almost at an end. And it's been so much fun chatting to you guys and learning from both of you about Greek wine, as we did from Nikos earlier on. The last one. Nikos told me this costs thousands of euros a bottle, and you don't make very much of it. It's a very limited edition. The flagship wine. So let's bring it out and have a look at it. Just the bottle. I mean, look at that. It's big and strong and Greek-like. It's got a couple of very impressive awards sitting on the front there. So Cabernet Sauvignon and Achiriotico, 50% of each, I think you told me earlier. Why these two together, Costa?
This wine is a very, very special wine in the winery. Your name in his signature. This signature in my father. And special wine in wood. Bottle handmade. 3 years oak barrel and 1 year steel tank.
Okay.
This special wine, very body and very aroma, caramel and vanilla and tropical fruit. Good taste.
I am quite excited, Costa. And I think I'm excited both because I can see you're excited. When Nico told me about this, he actually burst into song. He was so excited about this particular wine, but also because Yanis, this speaks to the transformation, which links to the question I asked you about red wine being on the up. That if you are able to create a real rock star red wine, a benchmark red wine that can sit at a kind of a high Bordeaux equivalent price and deliver on the wine, then that's a really important step for Greek wine.
Yeah, of course it is. And we have star wines, we have top red wines we produce already, I think. But it's not easy for, let's say, somehow very old, but somehow too new wine country like this, because there's a huge gap, to ask so high price. But red wine, I speak for German market, for example. Greek red wine for German market, it's a big thing. And especially the winter, it's quite long. So yeah,
So you need lots of this.
Yeah, we need a lot of this. Yeah.
Oh, Costa, this is lovely. I really, really like this, and it's the balance of it. I think you've got so nice. There's the obvious fruit that you'd expect. There's a great smokiness to it, but But there's also almost like a kind of a burnt marzipan wisp to it, just that filters through. You did a really nice job, and I know you don't make very much of this, so thank you for sharing with us. I'm very grateful. We're almost at the end of the show. However, we've got time, I think, for one last wine very quickly. And this, I have to be honest, I did not know existed, because I know the Greeks are fairly inventive. I know there's lots of things that you do, but I did not know that there was a Greek sparkling wine.
Yes.
Now, in France, it is champagne, and it might be Prosecco in Italy, it might be Cava in Spain, in South Africa we call it Cap Classique. What do you call it in Greece?
This product with sparkling wine and Malagusia grapes. Very special wine and very sweet and very aroma, strong body.
There we go. So what you can't see, we have a young trainee sommelier called Fotis who is helping us out. He's not very good, but he's very sweet. Much like I think this particular wine. Before I even try it, the bottling. We used to, whether it is champagne or prosecco or cava or cap classique or just a sparkling wine, we used to a certain kind of bottle and we used to a certain kind of cork. You have neither that bottle nor that cork. So why is it bottled in this particular way, Costa?
This first sparkling wine in Messene, very special wine. Name is Kisses. For Kisses in wine. Different wine, very good, and after food and your drink.
Cool. So I'm not sure what comes after extra sec, but I think that is extra sec. So it's a very, very sweet sparkling wine. But if you ever had Greek dessert, then I think you're ready for something very sweet. Is this kind of a bit of an experiment, or do you think this is something that's going to become a regular feature of what you make?
This product in after food and drink.
So kind of sparkling dessert wine.
Yes.
All right. Fair enough. All right. We are almost finished, but I want to get one last comment from both of you. Costa, for you, you look so excited about your wine, and I love that. And you look like you're in a really good space based on the quality of wine. What do you see about Greek wine the next 5-10 years? What needs to be done? What would you like to see happen in Greek wine to keep improving it?
Greek wine is the best world year and year in the world. My winery product and boutique winery in Kelar and very very special new product wine.
It's in a good space.
Yes.
And Giannis is somebody who watches Greek wine and watches the world responding to it. We tend to look at the areas where we're going well, but there are also areas where we always need to improve. What does Greek wine need to do in the next few years to keep improving and to keep getting better?
Yeah, good question. First of all, we have to continue push harder to improve quality. The market outside of Greece, abroad, it's not only about Greek wine, also South Africa, California, Chile, etc. So many other places are up and coming. So we need to always improve our quality year by year. And apart from that, we need to establish our reputation. Now, yeah, we are in a good mood, We are all the way, but we need to establish our quality and reputation. So, in the next 10 years, when some average consumer, let's say, from abroad, uh, to be able to pay a little bit more about Greek wine and not just look on the price and build up a good reputation finish. I think this is quite important.
And I think a lot of parallels to be drawn with South African wine as well. That brings us to the end of what's been a really, really cool afternoon at the restaurant Itomi. Those are the bells, which the priests telling me that they want to come and try some of the wine. So we need to wrap up the show, which is what we will do. Thank you for joining us this evening. A big thank you to Nikos from Taverna Itomi. Just mention Dan really likes wine when you get here. He'll look after you brilliantly. And a big thank you to, there's Nikos sticking his head in as we wrap up the show. Nikos, thank you. Costa, thank you for sharing your wine as well. It's been lovely. And Yanis, to get some insight from someone who's got Greek wine experience across Europe is fantastic as well. And a really interesting selection that Asirtiko particularly was a slightly different one from the Santorini style we've had on the show recently. Really, really cool to sample as rush hour traffic picks up in the CBD of Ancient Messene, and the Asirtiko Machalusia blend as well. And then that red, the hallmark wine, just a really, really exciting one. Greg Sherwood looks like a good session, Dan. No spittoon in sight. My mother-in-law would yell at me if I used one, Greg. And Angelique Kuvalakis, fantastic show. Great Greek wines to try. They most certainly have been. There are more Greek wines coming up on the show on Thursday. I will be on the island of Sifnos with Peter Lemmer as we drink a selection of local wines plus a South African Chardonnay and continue the adventures of Dan Really Likes Wine across Greece. Thank you very much for joining us. This has been Dan Really Likes Wine, presented by Pick and Pay, featuring the wines of Costa and Psasouris, the finest restaurant in Greece, with Nikos and Yanis. If you're in Germany, you want Greek wine, there's your man. Keep watching, keep drinking South African and Greek wine. I'll see you on Thursday. Goodbye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
To join the Pick and Pay Wine Club, simply SMS your smart shopper number to 36775. It's absolutely free, and you'll get for yourself 3 times the smart shopper points on every bottle of wine bought. You'll also get a 20% discount on 10 different wines each month, a 25% discount on a case of wine, and a Magnum, some terrific competitions and invitations to awesome events.